It's Sunday. Well, we're having a special afternoon drop of Single Sunday. That's right, we're taking all of our singles and we're going over them and figuring out what we end up having. But you know what's better than a Single Sunday? A double dose of Single Sunday. That's right, we ended up missing last week, so you're getting a good old classic double dose. So, I'm saying so a lot. Well, anyways, we're going to cover this week's first, and then we'll catch up with last week's what we have on our singles. And if this is your first time coming over here, this is where we're going to have singles issues that we ended up picking up on our poll, and we're going to review them and rank them and figure out which ones that we have. And then sometimes we talk about what we're going to be doing and what we're going to take away or add to our poll. And then if you don't know what a poll is, well, we got you covered there as well. This is where a poll is, where you can make sure that you have a local comic book shop or an online shop. Either way, be pulling the singles that you want to be making sure that you end up getting throughout the entire week. New singles drop on Wednesday. We review them on Sunday. So without further ado, let's dive in to Single Sunday. So this week we have 3 issues. So we have a top 3 already. Are we ready to end up starting to go with it? I think so. Let's dive in. Coming in at number 3 is going to be New Gods, issue number 10. So this is going to be a story that ends up having... I'm going to be honest with you, I just didn't totally understand what's going on with it. But we got 2 more issues before they end up taking that big break that they're going to be planning on doing. Maybe I'll understand it a little bit more, but for me, the issue wasn't really connecting with me. Coming in at number 2 is an issue that was connecting with me, and it's a number 1, and it's a random picked up list. And that is issue number 1 of Magic the Gathering. What is that saying? The Untold Stories of Elsbeth. So this is talking about where it was Theros, where Heliod ended up betraying Elsbeth and ended up killing her, and it ends up talking about that and what's going on. It finishes with, if you play the game and you understand the story, you'll be kind of expecting where it finishes at. You end up having the god Kalthus overlooking Elsbeth and about to do something. So that sets it up for a second one, and I think I'm interested enough to maybe pick up that second one. The book of this week, the number 1 book, the top dog, top pick, is going to end up being Deadpool and Batman number 1. That's right, this is the one that's working with DC and Marvel working together. This is the Marvel version. That's why you have Deadpool at the very top and Deadpool and Batman over towards the bottom. So this had a bunch of mini stories that comes along with it. I enjoyed what was going on with Deadpool and that interaction between Batman and him. Fantastic. Then you also ended up having a bunch of other little stories that you ended up having. You had It's Jeff with Crypto, and that was nice and a little fun. You have a fun one that has a mixture of Lobo with Wolverine called Logo. So that's kind of interesting as well. But it ended up having a bunch of little stories, and the Batman and Deadpool story, or Deadpool and Batman story, was actually the main driving force, and this is like a double issue size, so it's a bigger book, and the main focus of it is those stories. Some of the second stories or anything like that are a little bit bigger than, well, they're a little bit smaller than obviously the main story, which you're going to be finding with the Deadpool and Batman. Another extravagant one. So, that covers this week. Let's go back and track and find out what we had last week. I gotta do a little bit of shuffling. Yep, that came out there. Yep, yep, and yep. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got 8 books all together. No wonder why I didn't end up making it. But we got 8 issues that came out last week. So we got a top 8. Whew, that was a little wild reading that we ended up having. But coming in at number 8 is going to be Ultimate Spider-Man Incursions number 4 with Magic. Story's developing. I did end up liking it. It wasn't one of those that I'm like, oh, this is just going to be the last place that I didn't really care for. Coming at number 7, I hate to say it's the Ultimate line, but it's Ultimate Wolverine issue number 9. Now this one I had a tough placement with from here on out. I really love the book. I really love what the story and the art goes together with one another. What was that? Well, that's going to be Batman Dark Patterns issue number 10, the first story of this arc. I love the art that goes along with this story, and I like what's developing. It's just that the other stories that we're going to be having had more emotional impact that ended up coming out of it. So that means we're in our top 5. And coming in at number 5 is going to be Captain America, issue number 3 by Chip Zdarsky, giving us a nice little history of Captain America and a rethinking of what's going on while he's ended up fighting Dr. Doom, trying to convince Cap that he's the same as Doom, or Doom's the same as him. Coming at number 4 is issue 12 of Absolute Batman. Has some Killer Croc action that ended up going on. We had some development. We had multiple different characters that's going on with it. We see some craziness happening with Bane being in the background. So I have to say that was very, very impactful for me. Coming in at number 3, well, this book came out at an interesting time because it really became a hot button subject, talking about other politics, but we're not going to dive down that rabbit hole. We're going to steer clear with One World Under Doom, issue number 7. I had to say it had a lot of action, it had a lot of development, it had a lot of stuff that they want to be talking about, and you'll be able to pick that up in this issue. Number 2 was another pickup that we ended up doing, and I think this wraps up the series, I don't know, but that is going to be Wolverine's and Deadpool's issue number 3. So this ended up pulling on those strings that you have as a parent, where you actually see Deadpool actually stepping up into the role and loving what's going on with it. I'm not going to say how and where it ends up going. All I got to say, watch behind you. Look out in the shadows. And then if you know the books that are coming out, this would have to be number 1. Why? Well, this is the last one of this person's run, and so it has to be a wrap-up, setting it up for the next person that's taking over. What is our number 1 book of that week? It is going to be Transformers issue number 24. Last book with DWJ in the driver's seat. And oh my goodness, it did end up wrapping it up, and it was a clear-cut top favorite of mine. It had a bunch of action. You end up seeing some new characters. Well, not new if you end up following Transformers, but if you don't follow Transformers, it was definitely something new. Alright, so those are the top picks that we ended up picking up. I would strongly suggest, if you've been reading Transformers, pick that guy up, finish it out, you might as well. We got Robert Kirkham coming up with the next one. I decided to take a pause on the single issues for that. I think I'm just going to get that in a deluxe trades when that comes around. But, what are you doing? Let us know down in the comments down below. Also, if you're liking the content we're putting out, like, subscribe, and hit that little bell icon to be notified whenever we come out with new content. Thank you for watching, and until next time, we'll see you later.